So I decided it's time that I added a dash camera to my car, and I've been online, I've done what I normally do, which is check all the reviews. I've also looked at YouTube videos, just as I guess you guys are doing right now, and I came up with this particular camera, which is the Garmin 55. And why did I like it in particular? Well, it seems to have certain features which are good, which it has GPS, so it gives data on speed, the date, the time, the location. It also has a motion sensor, so it will also detect if you're involved in a collision and auto save the video for you. It has artificial intelligence as well. It monitors the video and looks at various parts of the picture to detect whether there's any forward-looking events, whether there's red lights, or whether you're drifting out of your lane by detecting the white lines, all of which sounds rather good, although I haven't tested it. Then of course there's the speed cameras as well, and Garmin include a database of speed cameras inside the unit. So let's open the box and see what it looks like. So in the box we've got the camera to start with. Let's hold it up the right way. Very small, very neat, quite light. It comes on a mount already, and there's a sticky pad metal disc here. This is a magnetic mount, so you can easily remove it from your screen. Then we have a very long lead, charging lead, with a standard cigarette lighter type plug on the end of it, charger plug on the end of it. There's a spare metal mount with a more sticky on the back in case you wanted to perhaps put this into a second car. And finally there's the instruction manual and another micro USB lead, so you can connect it into your laptop and download data. Let's have a look at the menus. So on the right hand side of the camera we have these 4 buttons. The very top one is simply the power on off if you hold it down. The next 2 navigate through the menu going up and going down, and the last one takes you into the menu or enables any functions within that menu. You can see there's legends just down this edge. So if I switch on to start with, it's saying do some software updates, which I can cancel from, and it says don't adjust this device while driving, which I can cancel through. And there we have the camera. Very top right here it has a little legend which shows you the battery status. At the moment it's pretty much full, but I have to say the battery doesn't last long on this camera, but then it's not intended to operate like a GoPro. It's always intended to be powered in the car, but it does give you some period of time, probably about 10 or 15 minutes of battery power, in case you need to take it out of the car and maybe film around the car if there was an accident, as a for instance. So let's go and have a look at the menus. The first one is second button down, is the settings one, and if I go into it, the first option is camera, and I'll go into that, and now I'm looking at the resolution, and you've got various resolution settings that you can make on this camera. Top one is 1440p at 30 frames per second. 1440p is better than HD but not as good as 4K. It is a very good resolution camera. Moving down, 1080p is more standard HD resolution, but at 60 frames per second that will give you much smoother video if you've got fast moving action being recorded. Moving down one more, you've got 1080p, the standard HD, at 30 frames per second. But this time it also has HDR. Now HDR is high dynamic range, and what that's saying is in bright sunny days where you've got very bright skyline and maybe the darkness of the road, this will try and get the exposure correct for both, so the picture quality looks good and that the skyline is not burnt out or the road looks very dark. Anyway, I'm quite happy with that. Move out. Moving down through the menus using the third button down now, just to spool down. You can see I've got event detection. Record audio is on. You can switch that off at any point. Data overlay. This is coming from the GPS. If I open up, we've got date, time, location and speed that will be recorded. Unsaved videos. This is quite an interesting one. When this camera records, it basically records temporary video files, and you have to, if you want to retain those files, you need to actually save them. Otherwise, you've got these two options. Either you can promptly delete them when you switch off the camera, they would just disappear, which is not a good move. Or you can delete when the SD card is full. So basically this camera will continually record, and as it fills up the SD card, it will delete old files and then use the space to record new files. So I'm going to leave it on delete when full. Simple things now. Record after power loss, 15 seconds. Obviously you've got a number of options there, and of course you can format the card. Coming back out, driver assist. Now, do you remember there was artificial intelligence in this camera? So the camera needs to know where to look for possible things like red lights and white lines. So you have to tell it where you're placing the camera on the screen, and by that it then knows to look at what part of the picture to analyze. So I'm going to set it for center. And am I driving a truck or am I driving a normal car? I'm driving a normal car, so I will leave it there. Forward collision. This is the motion sensor. I'm going to keep it on low because if you hit the brakes hard, you don't want to be auto-saving the video. But there's low, medium. I think there's high sensitivity as well, but I'm going to leave that on low. Not sure what go alert is. Lane departure is ticked on, so it will warn you if you're wandering outside of your lane. And proximity alerts as well. This will give you a audio single tone if you're getting close to something in front of you. Anyway, coming out of that. That was driver assist. Moving down on the system, usual regulatory business. Volume set to 100%, you can change that if it's too loud. Brightness, you can change that, of the screen that is, you can change that if it's too bright. Color mode is set to auto, but you can change that as well. Display timeout is within 1 minute. And then we can go into setup, which also allows you to change things like miles or kilometers to kilometers. Time format, that's kind of interesting. Also, but I can change the time format. At the moment I got it set to 24 hours. You could set it to 12-hour time format. Language, I've done British English, of course, and then the final thing, of course, is factory restore. That's about it in settings. So if I come all the way back out again, the third button down, if I press that, takes you to the picture and video gallery. You go into that, it's telling you that the dash camera recording alerts are disabled while viewing the gallery. Okay, so I'll come back to share gallery in just a moment. Here you can go into your saved videos, and there are no saved videos at the moment. The ones that you want to keep. There is this option for parked videos. This camera has the ability to you have a feature here where you can actually record while the camera is in park, but you need a special cable for that has not only battery 12 volts but also switched ignition 12 volts, so it knows when the ignition is off, but it stays continually powered and it will record while you're parked. I personally don't think it's worth it. You may have a different view. You can look at pictures. You can take still pictures on this camera as well, but there's nothing in there at the moment. So the next item is travel lapse. Now travel lapse is like time lapse. It effectively takes pictures, strings them together, and you can effectively watch a journey speeded up over time. It works in parallel with the recording of the normal videos if you select that. And then of course there's the unsaved videos, and there is presumably, there's something in there on this occasion, something I recorded earlier. So coming back out of that. So going back up to the top to shared gallery, this is where you can use an app called Garmin VIRB on your smartphone to connect to the camera, to look at videos, etc. The dash camera creates its own Wi-Fi. There's the dash camera SSID, and there's the network password. So let me see if I can find it on my phone. The first thing you need to do is to go to your Wi-Fi network, your Wi-Fi selection, and there we can see the dash cam. I'm going to select that one. And it's linked up. That's because I've done this once before, but otherwise you would have to put the network password in. Coming back to the VIRB, now we can look up unsaved footage, and there you are, it all appears on the app. So the final thing you can do is to connect your new camera to your laptop, and you use a program called Garmin Express. There we go. And the Garmin's firing up. Okay, again, I've got a folder view that's come up, which allows me to look at all the folders where pictures and videos are saved. In Garmin Express, you'll see that it now recognizes the first time you attempt to do this, you have to add a new device, and then it will ask you for login credentials to the Garmin website, which you need to set yourself up. But eventually you just see this, and you can see that I've got 3 updates waiting to happen here for my Dash Cam 55. Well, that's it, folks. That's my new Garmin 55. Next step is to install it, which will be the subject of another video. Please subscribe to me. I'm very grateful for all those people that do, and leave comments as well. I mean, if you like the video, then tell me. If you think there's something better I should be doing, then please tell me. Thank you.